We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew and Steve here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to this review of the new Cadian supplement that is contained in the Mont'Ka book. And first off, I want to say that I really like how they've been doing this. It's been very interesting to see them come out with campaign supplements, which then update armies.
This is smart, absolutely. It's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, it's nice. Like the White Scars got it, the Raven Guard. I was so surprised when those happened. They just kind of put them in the book.
Here we go, here's a bunch of new stuff for you.
It actually took us a couple weeks to start doing reviews on them because I just didn't kind of grasp the importance of what had just happened and how big a deal it was. I thought, oh, they just gave them a couple formations. I remember back in the Flesh Terror one and the one Tyrannid campaign book.
Right.
And it wasn't that great. The Necron one came out, it wasn't that great. So it felt like this was just the same thing, but then when I looked closer, that's a big update.
The formations make a big difference. They're changing the way you're actually playing a lot of these armies.
Yeah, and they give you more options. Because they're not replacing the codex. Like for example, for this Cadian one, you need the Astra Militarum codex in order to play it because it has all the unit stats. The White Scars and Raven Guard, you need the Space Marine codex. The Farsight Enclaves, which is also in this book, which we've also you've already seen a review for that. You still need the Tau book because it actually has their formations and stuff.
It's not that different from what they've always done for the last 20 years. We had supplement books. We haven't seen those in the last few years, but we're getting them back again, just in a different format.
And I think these supplements are way better.
I agree.
Because the old supplements might have just given you a couple new, like the
units, maybe some special names on some things.
Yeah, and that was about it. Or maybe it's their own detachment. Like they had a new detachment, but it was just a 4-sword chart detachment, like HQ troops, that kind of thing. Like I'm thinking of the Orc one. With the Gazgul Thraka book that came out. It's basically just a detachment and a couple of things in it, so it wasn't as big a deal. So anyways, before we get into this, we're going to start off by talking about the detachment formations. And I know we're going to kind of start a little negative, so I want to kind of preface this by saying that I actually like this update overall.
Yes.
For the Imperial Guard, I thought that they really needed it. They're solid in their book the way they are right now. Not like tournament competitive solid, but you can play. I've played them enough times against them and with them enough times to see that you can build a good army with them in more than one way.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Unbound. I like some sort of structure.
Yes.
So just to combine arms, it's boring. It's done. Now we have some nice formations with a couple of nice little rules, but just different ways of playing without going Unbound.
But it was just nice. They seem to have good variety. You could do infantry blobs. You could do tank companies. You could do a mix. You could go really elite with veterans, or you could not. And you had your order structure, which kind of gave you some control. So it was there. It's just we've had it for a while, and so it's kind of gotten boring. And everybody else's new formations and stuff kind of outshine it. So this brings that in. Having said that, let's talk about the detachment, which is called
Cadian Battle Group.
Cadian Battle Group. This. I want to do a little tip first.
Yeah.
Because it took us a while to realize this. This does not work the same as detachments from other books.
No.
The detachments from other books are pretty straightforward. They have command choices, core choices, and auxiliary choices. Typically, you are required to have at least one core. Some of them are like 1 to 3, some of them are 1+, but they require 1. And then they allow you to bring one command choice per core, but it's 0 to 1 per core. And then the auxiliary is usually required 1 per core, and then you can bring up
1
to
plus. Yeah.
It's like 1+, or 1 to 10, or 1 to 3. Yeah. We've seen different things.
Yeah, that's true.
And so when I was looking at this the first time,
we both made the mistake of assuming.
Yeah, I'm like, I was reading it that way. I'm like, okay, we got to bring a core, and then we add on at least 1 auxiliary, and then if we want to bring this battle, I'm like, why would I ever want to bring the battle group command? I already got a company command squad like twice because of the formations.
It's everywhere.
Then I realized that it was wrong.
Yeah.
That you actually have to bring the battle group command, which is a company command squad or tank commander, and then everything else is optional.
Yeah, so you're not getting the core first and maybe the auxiliary command. It's the commands first. Then you pick your core, and then some auxiliaries if you want.
And you're not allowed to bring auxiliary unless you bring a core.
Right. Yeah, it's the same but different.
I don't know why they didn't just say 1, like if they wanted to force the battle group command, okay. But then why isn't it just like 1 to 3 core rather than 0 to 3? Because essentially, this detachment could actually just be, like not just the formation, the detachment could be 1 company command squad or 1 tank commander. So you could build a combined arms detachment or allied detachment or anything else we want for Imperial Guard. And if you have a company command squad in that detachment plus another HQ, you can be like, well, you know what? I'll make this company command squad not part of this detachment. I'll make them a Cadian battle group.
Yeah.
Of just the company command squad.
Battle group.
And you still get access to the command benefits, which the one that would actually matter is called High Command, which lets you do 3 orders instead of 2, which is a pretty big deal.
Yep.
When you're issuing out ignore cover and get up from the ground kind of stuff.
I mean, if you can remember to use your orders, I know I had a little problem with that one, but yeah, orders make a big difference in Astra Militarum.
I know, ironically, you're going to be our Imperial Guard guy.
Right, like, but they're necessary.
Yes.
They're not just a bonus you can use.
Yeah.
You got to remember to use those rules.
So you could actually, this whole detachment could just be the battle group command, which that seems...
It's kind of not bad, but not good.
That doesn't make any sense, though. Like, you make that a formation, and then you could take the formation, at least that makes sense, but that just seems weird. On top of that, let's talk about the thing that both of us are most disappointed in. Why don't you?
Okay, so we have 2 possible cores. One of them is a tank core. I think we all kind of expected that.
Armored company.
An armored company. The other one is it's an infantry company. It's called the Emperor's Shield Infantry Company. The easiest way to say this is I can't see anybody. Not everybody would own the models for it, and if you do, not everybody wants to play this way. It's just 170 bodies.
Minimum.
You may
Could be more.
You may not take any dedicated transports.
No transports.
All 100. So basically, it's 3 infantry platoons that have to have 5-man max.
No, 5 squads.
Oh, sorry, 5 squads, which are 10-man squads. They have to have all 5 of their squads filled. Can't take a dedicated transport. This alone, without any upgrades, is a little over 1,000 points. Once you start putting in some heavy weapons and a couple of extra things.
Well, see, I'm not worried about the points. I'm worried about the number of models.
It's your entire army that it has to move on the field with toughness 3, 5 up armor.
Yeah, I know, but it could still be a good formation because you can blob them up into groups of 20 or 30 and you have less squads.
Yeah.
And then you can stick commissars in them and make that interesting because there is a really cool benefit to the whole thing, and that is that the command squad can issue an order to everybody within 12 inches rather than just one unit. So all of a sudden you can do first rank, second rank to a lot of guys. So I don't think there's a problem with the points cost. I think it's actually powerful because their other benefit is that they can move, and when they shoot, they count as stationary. So any heavy weapons.
There is an order that the platoon.
Oh, it's an order. That's right.
The platoon commanders get an order. So you'll have 3 of those platoon commanders will have an order that'll give one squad the ability to fire as if they were stationary. So basically, you got to move your heavy weapons and hope you pass your leadership test for the order,
7.
or you don't get that order off.
And that's the only order they can do.
Yeah.
But you do have the extra company command squad, and you're already going to have the company command squad from the battle group, so you've got 2 of those. And the company command squad from the battle group can do 3 orders, so that's 5 orders there.
Now, I mean, if you take it inside this formation, or sorry, this detachment, the battle group command will have the high command, which also increases his command radius to 24, not 12.
That's right.
And when he issues,
only for that command.
Yeah, only for his commands, but he's not the one who can issue the first rank certifier to everybody.
That's the one inside of the infantry company.
So it can get a little confusing, and it could very easily get easily confusing on the table.
Because you don't know which one's which. You'll have to mark them really well. Because the company command squad, like anything,
it's just 5 guys.
It's just 5 guys. And one of them should have a close combat weapon to make it look like he's the commander, because commanders carry close combat weapons. So my main beef with this is not its power, it is not its points cost, it's the fact that they're forcing me to minimum bring 170 guys. And if you're wondering why it's 170, remember an infantry platoon is a 5-man command squad, and then you have to bring 5 10-man squads, that's 55. You have to bring 3 of those, that's 165, plus, it's actually 170, plus the 5-man company command squad. Plus you have your company command squad from which is required from your battle group. So it's actually 175.
And 3 sentinels, because it requires you to bring 3 sentinels.
Yeah, which could be a sentinel squadron, so if you want to beef those up, great. Oh yeah, that's right, it requires the sentinels. That's
basically what the Emperor's Fist Armored Company, Emperor's Shield Infantry Company is just another formation in this book. It's called the Emperor's Shield Infantry Platoon, but the infantry company is just 3 of those.
Yeah.
So you have the option of taking an auxiliary of another one of these platoons. But
you've already got 170 guys.
I don't want them.
And that's 170 guys without taking any heavy weapon squads or conscripts or anything else like that.
If you could take chimeras, I know it would be really expensive, but at least you wouldn't have to spend all day moving models.
I think they kind of missed a good opportunity here because the infantry platoon as its own auxiliary thing, that was fine. When I read that, it's like you're required to have 5 squads in it. I'm like, that's fine. It's a formation. It gets this whole moving forward and firing stationary order thing. That's great. Cool. But then the core, I have not yet seen a core choice in any detachment that is so limited.
It's way too much.
It's like
way too much.
the Far Side Enclaves one. It has one core that with all the crisis or all the battle suits that usually can take up the bulk of your army, but you have the choice to take that or to take the Hunter Cadre. In this case, the other choice is all tanks, which if you want to build your typical Imperial Guard list, which is some infantry and some tanks,
definitely doable.
You have no way to do that. No, you have
no. You not in the Cadian battle formation or battle group.
No, that's what I mean. We're talking about the
group.
detachment right now.
Yeah.
We'll talk about because the formations are still good. This is what I'm trying to say. The infantry platoon is still a good formation. It's the fact that the core choice requires 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because I could see building a list of these formations, and I would bring an infantry platoon, because why not?
Yep.
And then I could bring like the artillery company and maybe the Emperor's Blade Assault Company.
I love the assault company. I like the artillery company.
We'll talk about those in a second.
On the infantry platoon, there is another special rule you're getting with your entire blob of guys walking forward. If any of the infantry men are within, I think, 9
inches
of the central, they get moved through cover. So you can't get a dedicated transport, but you can maybe move a little bit faster. That's your bonus. I don't have a problem with foot slogging infantry. I have a problem with 170 foot slogging infantry. Yeah.
And this is a Tyranid player. Like 170. I never bring that many gaunts.
That's not even including all the heavy weapons or conscript squads or all the other things you can add to the platoons. They have all those platoons have so much more room
so much
for other
potential.
things.
Yeah. What they should have done is the infantry company should have been like 1 to 3 platoons and throw it, or if the infantry platoon basically said you have to bring 5 squads of guys. And so they could have mixed and matched. You could have been like, okay, 2 infantry, 2 heavy weapons, and a conscript.
I think the majority of people will agree with me. I hope so anyway. The core should have been an infantry platoon that required you to bring 5 squads, plus every other optional choice has to be filled. So max out the full infantry platoon. So all 3 heavy squads, all 3 special squads, a conscript squad. That would have been a nice core. It wouldn't have felt that bad. It'd be a lot of bodies.
Yeah.
But you have some mortars or las cannons and some,
not nearly
guns.
as many bodies. That would be like a third of the bodies.
You'd have more useful bodies. You'd have more weapons.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if the core choice was like an infantry platoon plus some other stuff too, like veterans, like 1 to 3 veterans, 1 to 3 special weapons teams or whatever.
Yeah.
Else.
It was so easy. Like everything was already set in this Astra Militarum Codex. It could have been many different ways, a lot better.
Yeah, because what I was looking for was more options.
Yeah.
And the infantry platoon, since like 4th or 5th edition, or however long the Astra Militarum have had their platoon this way, it's been the first one to really have formations. They had formations before formations even existed. Like the infantry platoon is always that way. It requires a platoon command squad, 2 to 5 infantry squads, and then like 0 to 3 heavy, yeah, and then 0 to 1
conscript.
Yeah, that's a formation with no command benefits, except they get the platoon command squad doing their thing and issuing out orders. Yeah, so we already had a cool formation, and they took that cool formation and they restricted it.
Yeah, all you have to do is say, hey, if you do this on this formation, you get this rule instead. Like it was already
Yeah, they could have done that. They could have been like, we have an Emperor's Shield infantry platoon, we've got a blah-de-blah infantry platoon, a blah-de-blah infantry platoon, and that could have been 3 auxiliaries, and then the core could have been 1 to 3 of any of those infantry platoons. That would have been cool.
See, don't get me wrong, I don't think I can write rules. I don't think I can do better than these guys. But I mean, that one seems a little obvious to me.
I don't know. It was like right there. Now, okay, so that is that we kind of started negative there because
that's where that was it.
Yeah, there's other stuff that might not be super powerful, but that was my biggest beef. Yeah. Is I can honestly say I never want to take or see a Cadian battle group in a battle report because I think it'll be dreadfully boring. Now you might play one.
I'm gonna try it at least once. I don't know when.
Yeah, like we have our Vault battle report coming up, and maybe you'll do it then. But we'll see. We'll have to kind of see because it has to happen at least once.
At least once. We have the bodies for it.
We do have it's not a matter of the models. We have tons of the models.
That's true.
But it's just going to be so dreadfully long and boring.
It's going to be a long movement phase.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, if you want to bring a tank army, this battle group can still work for you.
Very easy, allows you to do it.
Yeah, because instead you could bring the Emperor's Fist Armored Company, which The one beef I have with that is it forces a second tank commander, because you have to bring your battle group, which could be a company command squad, but let's face it, if you're doing all tanks, what are you going to do with a company command squad? Unless you turn it to like a special weapons squad.
Yeah,
you could do.
Chimera. Yeah, you can put like 4 melta guns
Or
on
stick
there.
them in a Valkyrie and have a low altitude
Yeah,
flight and drop
yeah,
them
there's a
off.
couple things you can
Just
do.
sacrifice your warlord.
There's actually options on that one, if you want to go the tank route.
Yeah, the tank route, you have the tank commander, 3 Leman Russ squadrons, and 1 to 3 engine seers. You'll notice a lot that if you don't have engine seers,
You gotta buy them now.
you got to buy a couple.
Yeah.
At least a couple.
At least 2.
Yeah,
least 2.
if you want to, most of these formations require an engine seer, so I guess they weren't
And you
selling.
get some nice rules with them, so it's not like...
They must not have been selling those models really
no,
well.
well, they're metal.
It's like we haven't moved a lot of engine seers.
We
Let's
had
make them a
one-
requirement for
We
half
had
the
one
formations.
because of a campaign. That's the reason why we had to even buy one.
Yeah,
That was, yeah.
yeah, exactly, because I like to collect everything. What are the special rules for the armored company?
Okay, armored company, if any tank is within 6 of the engines here, I'm going to double check so I don't say anything that's wrong. You can force your opponent to re-roll the damage on the vehicle damage chart.
No, you don't force it. They roll 2 dice.
You roll 2 dice,
Yeah, they take the lowest.
Oh, okay, that's
It's even
better.
better. Yeah. Then they have formation leader, that when you're within 12 inches of the tank commander, you get ballistic skill of 4 for other tanks from this formation. And steel phalanx is kind of cool. It a little interesting ambiguity there, but basically if you tank shock something that's already been tank shocked from something else in this formation, they get -1 leadership. And if you ram something that's already been rammed from this formation, they get +1 strength.
I don't know if that's any good. Honestly, I don't know how that really works. Doesn't you have to take your leadership test immediately when you get tank shocked? So you get tank shocked again?
Yeah, well, the first one will try to tank shock you, they fail. So the second one tries to tank shock you with -1 leadership.
Okay, I guess it could be useful.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Listen to the wording here. If a unit is tank shocked or rammed by more than 1 vehicle from this formation,
Oh,
in the same turn, subtract 1 from its leadership for the tank shock, or add 1 to the strength of the ram for each vehicle after the first.
that's interesting. That actually makes ramming useful because they're already armor 14, they're already a tank, and they're already heavy.
So what does that make them?
So
Strength
7 plus 1 for tank and plus 1 for heavy.
So strength 9. And if you have a squadron of 3 of them, then when they ram in, let's say all 3 of them get to ram, then...
Well, can you get to strength 11? You have to cap it at 10, right?
Yeah, that's true. For each vehicle after the first. Yeah, I would assume you can't go above 10. But do all 3 of them get the +1 strength? It must be. Now here's another question. Those ones go in, they get their strength 10.
Yep.
Now let's say that another Leman Russ then rams, from the same formation, rams that. Does he get the extra strength because of them?
Oh.
Because it just says, if it's rammed by more than 1 vehicle from this formation, it doesn't say vehicle from the same squad.
Yeah.
So you could do one after the other as well.
So another single tank will get 10.
So if these 3 tank shocked a unit, it'd be at -2 leadership. Now that's a lot of firepower that you're kind of giving up to tank shock,
I mean,
and you're only allowed to move 6 inches in your movement phase.
sometimes when you get to your back line, when you have a bunch of tanks, you have to push them forward a little bit.
And you just make them all run back. But that's
You gotta keep them away from your engines
-2
here.
leadership. You know, even Space Marines would be.
I think the real winner here is just battlefield doctrine.
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, the formation leader helps too. Getting better ballistic skill, so now you can take Punishers on not just PASC.
Yeah.
Having ballistic skill 4 Punishers, a
Rather than
couple other
ballistic skill
things.
3 everywhere.
That's a nice one. And the whole, if you keep that engine seer alive, having your opponent re-roll. I mean, it's already hard enough to
Not
counter-
reroll. You get to roll.
Or sorry,
It's
roll
even
2
better.
dice.
Reroll, you're taking a
better,
chance.
it's better,
You roll
yes.
2 dice and pick the lowest, which will often
And
be detrimental.
like a wall of already armor 14.
5 out of 6 times, that'll lower their die roll.
It's good.
'Cause that's
It's
how
good.
often
it's
you
not
don't
a
get
bad
doubles.
formation at all. And that is your other core.
No, that's not true. Ignore that statistic I
Yeah,
just
math
said.
is close enough.
No, it's probably way off. It's probably more like half that, but that's okay.
It's a little bit better.
It's good.
Right?
It's
a
good.
free ability. It's a little better. and
They're
it's your
venerable.
core.
All the vehicles become venerable
There you
within
go.
6 inches. That's
There you
essentially
go.
what it is.
And you can take 1 to 3 engine seers, so you can put them by all your
And they're relatively cheap.
what formations. Or yeah, they're not expensive at all.
So that's another core
Squadrons.
choice. So if you're doing a tank group, or if you wanted to do mostly tanks with some infantry, then you do have the armor company, so you still get the advantage because there are some nice command benefits in the detachment, like sharpshooters, for example. Models from this detachment can reroll to hit rolls of 1 when firing last guns or hotshot last guns. So if we have that other core of infantry platoon, they go up there, they get to reroll 1s, and if they get first rank, second rank, to like a ton of them.
Oh,
Then
aren't
that-
hotshot last guns get hot?
No, they're AP3.
They can get
Straight-
hot. I
No,
think.
no.
No.
No?
I think they are.
I'm pretty sure they're not.
One of us is wrong here. He's gonna check it. I'm pretty sure they are. They're in the Tempest of Scions book. They're also in your Astra Militarum book.
Yeah.
It's a short. I think it's 18-inch range, las gun, strength 3, AP 3.
Yeah.
And we're pretty positive it gets hot, which would really help them.
Yeah, this would help that, but I don't think you're right.
Just stall here.
Just we got to see. Nope. There's rapid fire.
I told you, there's rapid fire. He doesn't listen to me.
Well, back to what we were talking
I
about.
It gets hot.
No, it sounds like it, right? Hot shot? No, they're just AP3.
Never mind.
Slightly less range, 18 inches instead of 24.
Yeah.
But still rapid fire and AP3.
And it is AP3, so that's...
But anyways, you're derailing us here. We were talking about the fact that they get to reroll ones. But you might think, well, I don't want to bring the infantry company. But the nice thing is you could build an army around bringing the armored company. Because the armored company is a tank commander, 3 units of Leman Russes. It's only 4 tanks.
Yep.
And an engine seer, but who cares? Because your battle group command could still be a company command squad. Because in your auxiliary formations, which you're allowed to bring 1 to 3 per corps, that's kind of limiting.
Yep.
But let's say you bring an armored company, infantry platoon and Militarum Tempestus platoon are on that list. So they're not formations, except like I said, they're kind of the old school formation for the Imperial Guard. And it's on there. So you could start with the armored company and then throw in a couple infantry platoons. Because an infantry platoon, like as we've already covered, that one squad can be up to, let's see, 55, 75, 85, 90, 120. Are they 6-man? Okay, so like you're looking at over 100 guys, plus you could actually bring transports in that one.
Exactly.
And so that can be the rest of your army. You could actually build the rest of your army that way.
Yeah, you could totally do it. Almost seems a little nitpicky to be upset about the infantry company.
But that means that you have to always bring the armor company.
You have to always.
You have to bring the 3 Leman Russes.
Astra Militarum, you probably want to bring tanks anyway.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But we haven't worked out the points for what that would then add up to.
Sure.
Because I'd want to be able to do a mix. So maybe there's something there. Maybe that's the answer. It's just disappointing that the one core choice is something that I'll honestly never really want to see.
I don't think I've ever played a game against Astra Militarum in the last 2 years that didn't have their warlord tank commander.
Oh, see, I've played a lot of them.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not everybody's bringing tanks for their
No,
warlords?
I played a game against somebody who brought what I would consider to be a really fluff-wise or a typical Imperial Guard list, and it was
just a little bit of everything.
It was a CAD, command squad, couple big infantry squads lumped up together with commissars inside them, with the heavy weapons team supporting them, and then for heavy support they brought some Leman Russes, some Wyverns. They even had some Sentinels walking around. They really it was a really good, powerful list. But when you look at it, you couldn't fault it. You couldn't look at it as being a min-max list. It was a really fluffy list.
Solid list.
It was just a nice. It really stuck to the spirit of what Games Workshop desired with the Combined Arms Detachment, and it had a bit of everything. And so yeah. So and that's not the first time I did that.
Astra Militarum already had a lot of options.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted more.
Yep.
Now, thankfully, like we said, you could just bring a CAD to get your infantry in, your command squad and a couple of platoons, and then just bring these formations, which is nice. And so I don't necessarily want to cover every single formation. I want to kind of highlight some interesting things. For one thing, there's one formation that you can bring 3 Bane Blades,
which is pretty cool.
That's like 1,500 points.
Yeah, there's 3 Lords of War for one choice.
So technically, you could play a Battleforged game that is nothing but you having 3 Bane Blades and an Engine Seer.
Why not? Why not? You get some special rules if they are within 12 of 2 of them. When you move in phase, you're moving to difficult terrain. There's something about getting shot by a couple of them. I think I forget what it is already. It was nothing super like, oh, I gotta play that formation just for that.
But it allows no. It's what it allows you to do is you can go to a tournament and say, I've got my Battleforged list, boom, and it actually can you just bring? Is it just string 3?
It is
one
just
unit
3
or a formation chosen from the following.
1 Engine Seer.
Yeah, hold on, I just read that wrong.
I wonder if any of them have transport capacity by chance.
Yep, some of them do.
Okay, good, because the Engine Seer probably wants to hide inside one of
them. Yeah, you just stay in there.
They have the devastating bombardment rule, so if any enemy unit is hit by 3 or more primary weapons from this formation, it must take a moral test on 46.
Unless it goes to ground.
Unless it goes to ground, yeah.
Excuse me.
I mean, that could be pretty good. You can make some jet bikes off the field or something, but you're not playing for that rule.
No, because you're hopefully killing the jet bikes.
It's Bane Blades. What with the leadership test is going to get hit by 3 or more primary weapons and likely survive?
Is it primary weapons
It
only?
says primary.
Oh, so you can't even be like, oh, I gotta toss my bolter and my bolter and my bolter.
Yeah,
See ya.
that would be like I'd be cheesy. I'd be doing that.
Yeah.
Both go here, both go here.
So, anyways, I didn't want to spend too much time on that one because it's not that interesting, to be honest.
Just Beyblades.
It's just a bunch of Beyblades, which is cool, but it's just other than that. We've got some interesting things to highlight. We've got the Recon company is pretty cool.
Sentinels.
It's 2 to 4 squads of Sentinels. At least they have to be 3 models each. They get outflank. They get preferred enemy against 1 unit that you pick at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
And they even get, like, a lot of these formations essentially add orders that they can do. So you assign one of the Sentinels to become a character, and it can issue take aim, which is not split fire, precision shot, forwards for the Emperor, which is Eldar trickery. No, it's shoot then move.
Shoot and move. Okay.
So you can retreat or you could advance. And then also move, which is just a 3d6 run, taking your best one.
I think this is better than just mediocre. This is enough to. I like this formation a lot.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of potential there because you can give them all last cannons and give them preferred enemy, and all of a sudden they can be really good tank hunters.
Having a bunch of relentless heavy weapons appearing on the flank, turn 2 or 3 is awesome.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I would use it for sure.
Especially with the ability to shoot then run.
Yeah.
Because
having orders issued, like from. The only downside is 1 Sentinel becomes a character. Yeah.
And so he gets challenged, or you get your
assassinate
from Maelstrom of War.
That's all. Other than that, it's a very good formation, I think.
Yeah. Now there's the Emperor's Blade Assault Company. That's one that you were liking.
I'm liking this one. I kind of misread it the first time, but it's 3 units of veterans. They have to be in a Chimera or a Taurox, and 1 to 3 Hellhound squadrons, and 1 company command squad. And the company command squad has to be in a. So
once again, you're going to find that a lot of in this detachment, you're going to have multiple commanders.
Lots of command squads.
Or tank commanders or whatever.
They get the objective secured.
On the veterans.
On the veterans.
And the command.
Get objective secured. Okay,
so the command squad and the veterans get objective secured.
Not bad. And clear the area. So I think it's all models in the formation. Yeah, so everything here in this formation gets preferred enemy to any model within 6 or unit within 6 of an objective. That's pretty good.
We're seeing more and more of that in formations and stuff that's been coming out. And I really like that because they're giving you a way to kind of try to control the battlefield.
I think Astra Military, I'm not very, very experienced, but I think they needed this one the most. They needed something to play Militarum of War with.
Yeah.
Now they have
something fast, something deadly. Hellhounds are deadly.
Easily. Yeah.
And once you give them preferred enemy, like they're already auto hitting, and most of the time they're going to be winning on 2s.
Well, there's other variants now. I mean, you got the Melta Hellhounds. We have we have actually all the variants.
That's true.
It's good. I like this formation. I think this is one of the best in this book. They needed this one, in my opinion.
And that preferred enemy is awesome. And then objective secured within this detachment is always nice, or even just as its own formation.
On the company command squad and the veterans, sure, yeah.
Yeah, which is still good. Because they can, even in their chimeras, they can still get
drop
that.
a chimera off an objective or drop the guys off and go try to game another one. You can now play Militarum of War. That's what it comes down to with me.
Yeah. We have the artillery company.
I love this one too.
Why do you like it?
Okay, so we have a company command squad.
Again,
yeah. 2 units in combination from Basilisk, Hydra, or Wyvern batteries. 1 either Manticore or Death Strike. And then again, 1 to 3 Engine Seers.
And the company command squad has to be in a Chimera.
Yeah, or Taurox.
Or Taurox.
So we get, so we have artillery command. So basically the command squad can issue orders to the tanks. And I think the good one there is ignore cover. Fire on my target, it's called.
Now they do only count as leadership 8. So you're missing it 40% of the time, 35% of the time, maybe I can't remember leadership, what it is.
I'll take it. It's good.
Yeah, because you can give your Basilisk ignore cover. Or split fire, if you have a group of Wyverns, giving them split fire. And although you are minimum 2 units, and so you might, if you're going to be bringing your Wyverns, you might already bring them in squads of 1, depending on how you bring this.
And once per turn, if model set up by another of your Voxcasters, you get twin
any
link.
Voxcaster. Any friendly Voxcaster. Doesn't have to be from this detachment or formation.
So you get 1 twin link.
It has
which will help those Basilisks.
You find 1 Voxcaster, he chooses something within 18 inches, and everything from this formation gets twin linked against it. Once again, Wyverns don't care about that, but Basilisks, imagine a twin linked ignore covered Basilisk.
Yep.
Or the Hydras, or the Manticores, or the Death Strikes.
This is good by itself.
Yes.
I love this formation, but inside the Cadian battle group, you get that leadership on 3d6 on the command abilities, which is going to help on that leadership that you were mentioning.
I don't recall that. I think you might get mixed up with the other one.
Group Battle Voxnet.
Battle Group Voxnet. When an officer from this detachment issues an order to a unit from this detachment, oh yeah, you roll an additional leadership, an additional die, and
So
take
anytime
the.
the Cadian Battle Detachment, you're very likely to get your order off. I mean, not guaranteed,
But you roll 3 dice and you drop your high.
but you're gonna get it more often than not.
Yeah, I missed that one. That's actually pretty good.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Once again, you're going to be required to have your Lehman Russes
Well,
and.
I'm noticing it's not going to be easy to play this Cadian battle group at 1500. I'm not saying you can't. It's going to really shine at over 2,500 points, I think. I think 3,000 points where you want to be for this battle group. You could probably do it at 2,000. But you got a lot of command groups. You got a lot of, not quite tax, but more squadrons than you normally want to bring.
Yeah.
But they're still good. It's not that bad.
We have the Ogryn Auxilia, which is a commissar with 2 units of Ogryns, 2 units of Bulgryns. They got some interesting things, like if they're close to the commissar, they get fearless. And if you charge with more than one, a ground shaking charge, if they charge an enemy unit that was already charged, then they get strength 7 hammer of wrath. I think just like the Tau one with the Vespids and the Kroot, they were trying to make them useful again, but
Okay, well, you get unquestioning loyalty within 12 of the commissar. You're fearless for these Ogrins. That could be enough to use this formation.
But you're forced to bring 2 units of Ogrins and 2 units of Bulgryns. That's a good amount of points just for these useless guys.
If you got to get them on objectives, and hopefully they'll hold with their good toughness. But no, it could be fun to use. I'm not gonna say you need to buy these Ogrins just for this formation.
Yeah. But there is one that I really like, the Psychana division.
You really like this one, right?
I do, because one thing I don't really see with Imperial Guard is Psychers. Like, I occasionally see a Psycher brought in a company command squad, just to give them a little bit of extra juice, or to give something nearby.
I'm not a big fan of the psychic phase in general, so yeah.
Oh, I like the Psychic phase a lot. And because things like Prescience, imagine starting giving Prescience to your squads.
Yeah.
Giving them the re-rolling ones. Re-rolling, period.
Rerolling, yeah.
Yeah, it's like twin linked essentially. So this one is a Primaris Psyker, 3 units of Weird Vein Psychers. Now, if you haven't ever seen those before, you're not alone. They're basically units. They're brotherhoods of Psychers.
Yeah, check so.
And then, what's that? Oh, you're checking. And then there's 1 to 3 Commissars. And essentially,
Commissars ain't bad.
it's kind of like the Librarius Conclave from Space Marines, that the Primaris Psyker knows the powers of any of the Weird Vein Psychers within 12 inches.
No, that's pretty cool.
That is cool, because that makes him very powerful. And on top of that, if a commissar joins a group of Weird Veins, they harness on a 2+. But if they fail to manifest a psychic power, and not because somebody denies, but because they fail their roll, then one of them just dies.
You get shot in the head.
If they get a Perils of the Warp, one of them dies, but then they don't suffer the Perils of the Warp. So that's actually more of a benefit, I think, than a negative thing. So this won't be that expensive to bring.
I double checked the other book, I thought it read you had to bring your max squads of 5 Weird Vein. But
What's the min squad, 3?
I think the min squad's 1, but it could be 3.
Yeah, I've honestly never really seen them brought.
Yeah, we have some.
We do have some?
Yeah, we have 3, but I use them for Primaris Psychers.
I thought we just had the Primaris Psychers.
No, those actually are the Weird Vein Psychers.
They are,
The
okay.
models we have here are actually the Weird Vein Psychers. And they get sold in packs of 3, that's why there's 3 of them.
Yeah, because they're the guys that are like crouching, holding their heads, and they look like they're all in pain.
I thought there was something to do with their empiric link. Every 5 or...
Oh, yes.
That's what it is. Okay.
You add, the Primaris Psyker gets 1 extra mastery level for every 5 Weird Vein Psychers that are nearby. So if you make them max squads and you have him join one, and there's like 10 of them nearby, he'll have 2 extra dice. Now, it doesn't affect how many powers he knows.
But it's a bunch of extra dice.
It's basically he gets more dice.
Yeah.
But he has to be the one there to get it. I'm really interested.
How many points they are?
What are they under?
They're under elite.
Are they elites?
Elite or... Yeah,
Weird Vein Psychers. Units. Oh, no, it's 5.
Oh,
So you can take 5 more.
That's what it is. So they are minimum 5.
They sell them in packs of 3. That's like hot dogs and hot dog buns, where they.
So you have to have a lot of psychers.
But they're only 60 points for 5 of them.
Yeah,
That's cheap. So you're looking at 180 points plus the Primary Psyker plus the Commissar.
That's a lot of bodies.
But that's a lot of psychic, because these they're only mastery level 1, but that's 3 powers they know. So they can each choose a discipline. So they know the Primaris plus 1, and then the Primaris Psyker can choose his own thing, and he'll know all of that. And then the Weird Veins can be manifesting on 2s, and I think it's totally worth it.
I would use it If we had the models, I think more people would use it if they didn't come in packs for 3 metal.
We need to get more models. They're still only metal? They're not in Finecast yet?
Though we bought some, it was less than a year ago for, I think it was Storms of Ixia, and they were metal.
Maybe they've updated them by now.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
But I'd rather a plastic sculpt over even a Finecast. But either way, it's a lot of Psychers you have to buy, or a lot of Weirdring you have to buy.
Yeah. But still, I think there's some interesting stuff there. Even if you just do some goofy stuff like demonology. I'm sure the Commissar would love that.
Yeah.
Just start summoning demons just on 2 pluses.
I have a 210 Imperial Guard in this table, and now we use 210 demons.
Yeah. Yeah, make sure there's the Inch demons so that they can then summon in more
Start
demons.
bringing in more warp charges and stuff.
It'd be interesting. Bring an entire army of, like, you just min out a tank company and bring as many of these Psychana divisions as possible.
So proxy every Guardian is a Weird Vein Psyker. It could be a thing.
Yeah, really.
It could be a Weird Vein.
My entire company are Psychers. This is my Grey Knight Imperial Guard list, except that they like demonology. So
Play kill points.
I think that's a cool one. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's necessarily super powerful. It could really help boost your army, except for the number of points.
Sometimes fun is more important than powerful.
Well, you're looking at, if I had to guess, about 300 to 400 points for the formation, and they're all super, super easy to kill. Like they're all just toughness 3, so you could just frag the heck out of those guys.
They're not gonna. Okay, you still generate warp charges if you're in a vehicle, correct?
Yes, but you just can't use your powers.
So they stay inside
Except
the
for
vehicle,
psychic
and the
shooting.
main guy gets out and hope he doesn't die. I don't know. Yeah, it seems a little fragile and frail for the.
Or the main guy is just using like Witchfire
He's
powers, and he can just
battery.
pop his head out of the hatch and start.
Yeah.
And even if he just joins a squad of 10 of them with a Commissar, and he just put those inside of a Chimera, then he's got 2 extra warp charges, unless you have another Chimera nearby with the other guys.
I think the one reliable way is to put him in a blob of 50 guys, conscripts or otherwise, with a Commissar, and hope he doesn't get his head shot off.
Well, yeah. Does the Primaris? The Primaris is not. No, it's just the Weird Vein Psychers that the Commissar makes them.
I thought
them 2+.
the Commissar general rules. I could be mistaken, but I thought in general if they were in it with any Psyker that.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not positive. Either way, I mean, it's a cool, fluffy thing.
I think it's cool, fluffy, but I also think that it might actually end up being more useful than you think.
Yeah.
Now you don't like Psychic that
I'm not
much,
a big fan of Psychic.
which is funny because you play Eldar.
Yep, I almost, and the viewers will know, I almost never bring up Arseer.
Yeah, well, you should try it. Although we need to get more of them first.
More Psychers?
Well, we only have 3 of them. No, I need more Psychers.
You need at least 15 to try this.
Yeah,
You
15
need at least
15 Weird
15 to
Vein
try
and a
it.
Primaris.
Yeah.
We need more Commissars too.
Oddly enough, you like 20,000 Astra Militarum here in the studio, and we
17,000.
17,000? Almost. We don't have enough.
That's the smart
That's
way
what
that
these
they're
are doing.
Yeah, they're like, well, people normally have a squad or 2 of an Ogryn squad or Bolgrin squad, so we're going to make the formation require 2 of each, which I think is smart. I know some people find that super annoying, and I get it. I totally get it.
It is smart business.
But it's
I'm
smart
buying the models,
business.
You're buying the models. We're buying the models.
Yeah, no, I think it's smart. And if I were writing rules and updating them every once in a while, I would do exactly the same thing. And however, I try to make them balance and stuff, which that sometimes doesn't
However
happen.
you can.
Okay, I think that's everything for the detachments. Probably going to stop there. Now, there's more to talk about with their warlord traits and their heirlooms. But I don't find, I went through them all. Was there any of them that
Nothing
really stood out?
Even
They're
the
not
warlord
bad.
traits.
They're not bad. We got some pistols that do some interesting things. We've got the extra standard of the lost 113th that they can actually plant down, and that squad can't move. But everything within 18 inches gets stubborn, I think.
They're not useless.
No, fearless.
Fearless.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. But other than that, or making one of your tank commanders, he orders everybody.
Yeah.
Instead of just one.
I don't know how useful. I mean, again, it's cheap. It's very cheap, so you can use it.
Yeah, why not? And then the warlord traits, some of them are the same, and some of them are you get the extra ballistic skill, or some of them you just get the extra. One of them lets you do an extra order, so you combine that with the high command thing, and also they could do 4 orders.
Yeah.
So I just don't feel like we really need to cover those in this.
It's just more. It's more not more the same, but more of what we're used to, which is good.
I don't see any
More is
game breaking thing. Except for the standard of the 113th, I think can be really interesting. Because basically once per game you can plant it down, and for the rest of the game you can't move that squad anymore. Even moving them, even just to stay in coherency. And everything within 18 inches gets fearless. Now just picture a blob of Cadians all
Commissars
fearless.
can do it.
They're not fearless, they're stubborn.
Yeah, but fearless, they're almost
That's true, because they just shoot a guy.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't really have a big problem with their guys running away.
No.
So, I mean, it's useful. It's not nothing. It's just not. They didn't need that. Like,
It's cool, though.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So that's what I found mostly with the heirlooms was that they're all cool,
Yep.
but not necessarily any of them were like, oh yeah, definitely that one for sure. So that's all I can think about for this. So we've covered everything here that we really wanted to go over. Overall, I'd give this a good old B rating rather than A.
I think not A, and I think B is more than.
I think the reason it would have got an A if the infantry company was more flexible.
That's it. I think we're doing a bad taste enough over that one.
Well, it restricts too much, and that's the opposite of what I want these supplements to do.
Oddly enough, they just didn't have that formation in here. You ignored it altogether. You still have your infantry platoons. You could have did it fine. It's just that one was like,
Yeah,
why'd
it's
you
just
do
a little
that?
too much.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
Other than that, I really like this update. I think it'll make the Imperial Guard interesting again. We're going to see
This should
Imperial
be
Guard.
fun. This should be fun.
And right now, you can go and watch one. It'll be in the MiniWarGaming Vault with the link in the description below. It'll be Steve playing the Imperial Guard because he's officially taking on the Cadian hat and then putting it backwards and maybe sideways on days that he's feeling a little goofy.
Of course.
And if you're not a Vault member, you can still click it, get a free 7-day trial, get instant access to that battle report and thousands of others and behind the scenes and paid tutorials and all sorts of other stuff. Lots of stuff. And it helps support us, and that's how we make these videos. So go ahead, click the link below to go and watch that battle report right now. Stay tuned for more reviews. Happy wargaming.